Alright guys, I got my minerals in. I have approximately 1,600 pounds here. I have a couple hundred pounds of liquid nutrition for the plants, and I have roughly 1,400 pounds of dry minerals here. If you haven't seen my video where I did the soil sample test and sent it to a lab, I'll put that link up here or in the description below the video. I sent my soil sample to this lab, and they sent me the results back. I emailed it to fixmysoil.com. He looked at the results of my soil, put all my minerals that I needed for my soil, mixed them all together and put them in these boxes here. Each box weighs almost 70 pounds, it's like 69.13 pounds. And this is enough for a 6,000 square foot garden. That's exactly 3 boxes per 1,000 square feet. Now, instead of spreading this all out, what I'm supposed to do is till my soil, broadcast this on my soil, and then kind of rake it in on the very top. The rain and the weather itself will drive those minerals down farther. You don't want them too far down because your basic vegetables, your roots are near the top anyways. But, so rather than spread this all out on the 6,000 square feet, I'm not going to be planting in every square inch of that garden. So what I'm going to do is make some beds, not raised beds, but just regular beds, and put 4 foot by 15 foot is what these beds are going to be. And I was going to use a treated post, 4x4 posts around the beds, but I was worried about what they use for treating that wood. I know they don't use arsenic anymore, but you know, just the same, I don't want to take a chance. I thought about cedar posts. Cedar posts, a 4x4 by 8 foot post, is about $30. I would need 5 of these, so that's $150 per bed. And I need almost 30 beds I'm going to be doing, so that's out of the question. So I thought about using concrete blocks. Now, there's concrete blocks and there's cinder blocks. Cinder blocks could be toxic. Could be. I'm not 100%, but it could be. So why take the risk? Cinder blocks consist of, well, how they make them is they use granulated charcoal, or granulated coal, I'm sorry, and or volcanic ash. Now, the volcanic ash might not be so bad, but the granulated coal might be a problem. It could be toxic to your garden. So, and the way to tell whether you got a actual concrete block or a cinder block is the concrete block is made out of Portland cement, sand, and gravel, and it would have more of a smoother finish on the block, and they have a light gray color to it, and they're also heavier. The cinder block that uses the granulated coal, they are lighter. They are darker in color, it's a dark gray color, and the surface is rough and kind of bumpy looking. So that's how you can tell. Now, I went to Home Depot and I went and got 3 pallets of concrete blocks. I looked at them. They have a smooth finish on them. They have a very light gray color and they're very heavy. Each block, an 8 foot by 4 inch by 16 inch, 4 inch by 8 by 16 block, solid block, weighs 35 pounds, so they're pretty heavy. So I know I don't have the cinder block, mine are concrete blocks. So I'm going to use that around the border of the bed, and I'll never have to worry about my beds rotting. I don't have to really worry about toxicity from anything in the blocks, and I should be all set there. So what we're going to do now is go in my garden. I'm going to turn over some dirt in that 4 foot by 15 foot area. I'm going to mix in some horse manure and some compost in there, and then till it in real good and spread these minerals in there. All right? So let's do that now. So you're probably wondering why I'm bringing my bricks to my garden with this and not my tractor. It's been raining like crazy here. I brought my tractor in there for one small pallet, and I sunk in pretty good. I don't want to destroy it. I don't want it to turn into a mud field there. So this is able to go on top of it pretty good. So this is better than carrying them out there by hand. Alright guys, I have my beds here all staked in. It's roughly 5 feet by 15 feet. That's 4 blocks this way and about 11 blocks this way. I have some compost here that I picked up. I don't have any compost right now. I have a truck driver who's going to bring me a truckload of about, I don't know, 12 to 16 yards of it, so I can do the rest of my beds. So we're going to put about an inch or two of that on the beds, each one. I got some horse manure here that I use for planting the trees. If you want to see that video, I'm going to put a link to that right here. So I decided to bring my tractor in here because I don't feel like hauling all this in by hand. All right guys, so let's get started. Well, as you can see here, this is only twice I've driven on this with my tractor, and it is just pretty darn muddy here. It's just too wet. So I'm going to do these 2 beds today, and I'm going to wait till this dries out a bit. Alright guys, the next thing we need to do, now that we laid our manure down, my compost, we need to turn this over. Now, I don't think I've explained this yet, but if you have clay soil like I have, or just nasty soil to begin with, you have to amend it. So you have to put a lot of organic matter in there. And you have to get it in there at least, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches into the soil. That's why I'm going to dig into this ground like this, much as I can, and just flip it over. And just keep doing that all the way down. The reason why you need so much organic matter is, and minerals of course, is you need a place for bacteria to live, okay? You can put all the minerals in the world in your soil. If you don't have the bacteria in your soil, your plants will never be able to absorb it. Bacteria take those minerals and are able to, now I don't know the whole science behind it all, but they basically break it down and put it into a size small enough for the plant to be absorbed. That's why if you eat your greens, your fruits and vegetables that you've grown, not the store-bought junk, it has a lot of minerals in there. That's why when you grow stuff on your own property, things taste better than the store-bought, because you know how things are grown for the most part on these farms. They're mass-produced. They're grown in dead soil. There's no bacteria. They're just fed with nitrogen and phosphate and potassium, and the plant needs more than that. Okay, and without the living organisms, the bacteria in the soil to break down those minerals, your plants won't get the minerals they need. So that's why it's important to put organic matter in, and for me it's manure and compost. It's a place for the bacteria to live and thrive, and the minerals I'll be putting in, along with the minerals that are in the soil to begin with, will be broken down by the bacteria and fed to the plants. They have the symbiotic relationship, and it's pretty awesome. So if you don't have your soil right, you need minerals in your soil and organic matter. If you didn't get your soil tested like I did, you can just buy azomite. Azomite has roughly over 70 trace minerals in there, and if you sprinkle some of that in there and work it in your soil a little bit, that's a definite plus, as long as you have organic matter in the soil. Well, I am just about done. Now I'm very grateful that the ground is wet and muddy, because otherwise I won't be able to be doing this. If you have clay soil like I have, you know, once it gets dry, you need a pickaxe or chisel or something to get into it. But now with this organic matter in here, that won't happen, at least, you know, that deep of it, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches of it. Because now we got organic matter in there. So, and now I'm going to till this, get everything mixed. I'm going to put the tiller as deep as it'll go. Mix all this organic matter in real good. Now, I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to say, hey, can't be tilling, it's not good for your garden. Well, it is good for it if you have clay soil and you're amending the soil. You have to do something. And when you're starting a garden, actually it's very good that you do it, because you have to get the organic matter in there. Yeah, you can do that back to Eden garden, but for that soil underground to get good, it's going to take many years. Okay, I don't got that time to waste. I did that in my other garden. That was a complete failure. Sucked up all the nitrogen out of the soil. I had bad soil to begin with anyways, but the chips breaking down takes a lot of the nitrogen. And nothing but weeds grew. Here, what I'm doing is mixing in all this organic matter. Now, next year, I won't have to till this anymore, okay? What I'll be adding next year is probably leaf mulch, or more compost, or more manure, and putting that on top. I shouldn't have to till it anymore, but if I do, it's not going to really hurt it much, you know. But if you have clay, you have to get that soil amended with compost, manure, composted leaves is wonderful. I just unfortunately don't have any. So yeah, any kind of organic matter that you can put in there, put it in there, because the bacteria have to have somewhere to live. Alright, so now we're going to till this and then put the minerals in. Alright, so I got everything tilled. I'm moving all the dirt more towards the inside here because my blocks are going to go right here. Next thing we have to do is level it a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm doing over here. Alright, so essentially I got a long 2x4. I think this is about a 10-footer. And I put it at the highest point, which is right there. And then I put it across here, and I put some dirt on the other end to lift it up. So I can see it was sloping down until my bubble here is level. So you can see where you have to fill in here. So essentially what I'm going to do is right where it's empty under there, we're going to fill it with dirt. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want your blocks to look nice and level. Fill it in with dirt and do that this way and going across the other way also. And once we get that all nice and level, we could start laying our blocks. Alright guys, another way you can do this is put a block on each end, and at the stakes here, get a string from the highest end all the way down to the other end. And what you're going to have to get is one of these here. It's an inline level you put on your string here. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing, is putting the line here and make sure the line is level and the string is right up to each top of each brick or block here. And we're going to start laying our next block, filling in underneath the block, and laying the next one, filling underneath whatever we need to, or taking out if we need to, underneath the block. So this next one, going to go here. It looks like it's going to need just a tad bit. Put in some dirt. And eventually these will start settling, but we're not building the Great Wall of China here. We're just putting a border in our garden to separate it from the walkway area and the garden, or the beds. Alright guys, we are pretty much done with the blocks. Now what I want to do is level out this dirt. I think my next bed, what I'm going to do is put the blocks in the ground a little more work, but they'll be a little more stable. I'm not going to fill this thing up with dirt. It's just, I mean, once this fluffy dirt settles, it'll be pretty much level with the ground itself. So right now we just want to level this out, and I want to get my minerals in here. So this dirt is looking really good. I mean, if you watch my other videos, I have red dirt here, very clayish soil, very high in iron. So this looks really, really good. So I'm going to finish this up here, and then we're going to put our minerals in. Alright guys, so I got everything leveled out here. I got my minerals in this bucket. One Fix My Soil prepared everything for me. My minerals worked out to 207 pounds of minerals per 1,000 square feet, and then figured out how many per square foot, figured out what this square footage was, and it come out to 13.5 pounds. Okay, so what all we have to do is basically sprinkle this all in. Now, at fixmysoil.com and at International AG Labs, they work together, and after you give them the results, after you send them the soil sample, they'll give you what you need per 1,000 square feet, and Luke at fixmysoil.com will get that and pre-mix everything for you and have it shipped to you. And to my house, it was freight. It was pretty heavy, let me tell you. You may not need as much. You know, it all depends what your soil is like. My soil is really, really bad, like I've been saying, but you know what? That changes today. Today, that all changes. Because now I'm going to put these minerals in here along with the all that organic matter I've been putting in here, and not to mention I'll be putting in more in the years to come. This soil in here should be fantastic, and I should have some very delicious vegetables and greens next year. So I was supposed to broadcast this on with a broadcaster, but obviously I'm doing a bed here, so I can't do that. And remember, minerals really won't do anything for you if you don't have the proper bacteria in your soil to break down those minerals into a size that's absorbable to the plant. They have the symbiotic relationship. The plants exchange sugars for the minerals and nutrients from the bacteria. All right. Now all they have to do is work it in a little bit. Now, like I said, if you don't get your soil tested, at least buy some minerals like azomite, because it contains just a large spectrum of minerals, and put that on your garden along with the organic matter, and your vegetables will taste better, because that's what makes vegetables taste good, are the minerals. That's why most people, when they buy vegetables at the store, they taste bland, because there's no minerals in there, very little. And if there's no minerals in there, your body's not getting any minerals either. And that's how, well, who was it? There was a nutritionist that said minerals are the glue that holds the cells together. So technically, or actually, you'll start falling apart without the minerals. Start getting sick, aches and pains, and all that wonderful stuff. All right, guys, so since we are near the end of November here, the next thing I'm going to do here is just put some hay down here to keep everything covered and insulated. We don't get that cold here, but it's a good idea to put something down, leaf mulch, hay, whatever you have, just to keep it covered. And then when spring comes, just start planting, open it up. If I have hay in here, I'm going to leave the hay. Open it up and put my plants in there. And if I'm planting onions or something, something that's a whole lot, I'll take the hay out, of course. Or plant in between. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But it's good over the winter to put some kind of cover on here to keep the bacteria comfy in their new home. All right, guys. This is about it for this video. It's been long enough. You get the gist of it all. So I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.